Hey everyone. So, this video was something I debated doing for a while because it's something very personal to me, and it's something that a lot of people do not like to be okay with and make fun of people for, and that's not okay. But I figured now's a better time than any because I'm getting more comfortable with this. So, I am an adult man who absolutely loves My Little Pony. Uh, I watched the show a little bit when I was younger, but then I kind of felt discouraged from watching it because it just wasn't the thing. Like, oh, you're a guy that likes this show or whatever. That's not okay. You can't do that. And I rediscovered it as an adult, and I'm like, you know what? I do like this show, and it's okay because there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with liking it. So today I just wanted to talk about some of my favorite things from the show, talk about the show in general, and see how this video does. So I guess we'll just get started. I have just a whole list written off to the side here of like my favorite things from the show. So we'll go over it. Starting with my favorite of the background characters is this character right here, Derpy. But I also really love Octavia Melody because I'm a musician, so and I really love classical music, so she kind of fits into that frame. But I really love Derpy because of just how funny she is, how sweet she is. She's a really well made character. My favorite main six character is this one right here behind me, Rainbow Dash. So, there's just a lot of things with Rainbow Dash that I can relate to personally, but she's also just again a very well made character. And my favorite character completely, second favorite is Starlight, but first favorite is the great and powerful Trixie. So Trixie is a character much like Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, for those who have seen my Epic Mickey videos and stuff like that. Trixie is a character that I'm able to really relate to on a very deeply personal level, and things that I won't get into in this video. But if y'all would like to hear about that later, and I would be willing to share, which I might, I would share about that. But uh, yeah, she's an amazing character. She has flaws, which is obviously one of the biggest things that draws me to her is because yes, I have a lot of similar flaws to her, and the way I overcame those flaws, I overcame them in a very similar way that she did. So I can relate to her very much on a personal level. But moving on, my favorite song is We're Friendship Bound from, I forget the episode's name, but it's when Starlight and Trixie go on a road trip together to travel to Saddle Arabia and perform there. And that's the song that they sing like right as they're leaving Ponyville. And so yeah, that's it's just a really catchy, upbeat song. It always gets me in a good mood. I love listening to that song. But I also love, these are some of my other favorites. You're in My Head Like a Catchy Song, which is from my favorite episode, which I'll get into in a little bit. Uh, very sweet love song. I listen to it all the time, especially around like Valentine's Day and stuff. It's just a really sweet song. Days Gone By, which is the MLP version of Auld Lang Syne, the New Year's song, which Auld Lang Syne is already one of my favorite songs of all time. So when I found out that there was a pony version of it, I was like, yes, please, I need to listen to this. And it's an amazing song. It's about Applejack's parents, which that story is just so sad and bittersweet, and I love it. Uh, Another one of my favorite songs is A Changeling Can Change because specifically it highlights that it doesn't matter what somebody's background is. It doesn't matter like what group of people somebody is from. People have the ability to change and to not be stuck in their old ways, whether that be bad or whatever, because things change, time changes, people change, everything changes over time. And so it's not, you can't just read a book by its cover and then immediately put it back on the shelf. You have to give them a chance. You have to give people a chance. People can change. So I love that song. And probably my second favorite song of the series is The Magic of Friendship Grows, because it's the very last song in the entire series of Generation 4, anyways. I've not even getting into any of the other generations. Generation 4 is my favorite. But it's the perfect, like, send off to the series. It every time I listen to this song, it gets me a little teary eyed. But it's a perfect song to end the series with. Seeing all the characters years in the future when they're all older and have bigger responsibilities now. It's an amazing end to the series. So my favorite episode is actually not the one that you're in my head like a catchy song. It's not that episode, but my second favorite episode is that. But anyways, my favorite episode is No Second Prances, because it highlights the story of how Trixie and Starlight came to meet, and Trixie's redemption arc, and how she was saved by her brand new best friend. And again, leads into my personal life and everything, and how I can personally relate to that. But it's a really sweet story showing how Starlight was struggling to make friends in Ponyville. Trixie was still struggling to just go past her past, and but a lot of ponies weren't ready to move past what Trixie had done with the Alicorn amulet and trying to take over Ponyville. So it's a really sweet episode of the two of them becoming friends because of their mutual ground of their dark past and struggling to make friends. So it's a really sweet episode. But my second favorite episode is The Perfect Pair, which that's the episode that You're in My Head Like a Catchy Song comes from. And it tells the story. Pretty much the entire episode is mostly a flashback through other characters telling the story of Applejack's parents when they were still alive, before they had kids. But it shows how the Apple family and the Pear family hated each other, didn't get along. That classic, like, Southern family feud sort of a thing, because, I mean, they're two farms and stuff. But living in the South, I know that sometimes those family feud things, not the game show, but the idea, they can exist sometimes. It's very rare now, but they exist. Uh, and they hated each other so much. But the kids of the family, Bright Mac and Pear Butter, uh, they loved each other. Like, the second they saw each other, it was love at first sight, which definitely sounds like a Disney thing. But if you know me, you know that I love Disney, so I'm okay with that. But yeah, and then it shows them growing up where their families hate each other, but they just want to spend every second of the day with each other. And it ends with a wedding in the forest that they try to do in secret, but of course, Grandpere and Granny Smith end up finding them anyways. And Grandpere says, "Are you choosing being an apple over being a pear?" And Pear Butter, her nickname is Buttercup, she asks if he's making her choose. And he says, yes, that he is. He's going to make her choose between her true love or her family. And then she says, yeah, I guess I am. I'm choosing being an apple over being a pear. And Grandpere storms off in anger. And that was the last time he saw his daughter alive. Thinking about that specifically makes me very sad, that because later in the show we see that, well, later in that episode we see that Grandpa and Granny Smith put their differences aside and become family, but Grandpa never saw his daughter again. The last thing he said to his daughter was, okay, fine, and then stormed off in anger. That's amazing writing and stuff. But and I'd love the mystery of what exactly happened to Applejack's parents. We know that they passed away at some point before the end the uh, show started, It might have been when Apple Bloom was still just a toddler or whatever. I don't know, but just their story of love, it's amazing. But but yeah, those are my thoughts on like specific things, all of my favorite things, favorite song, favorite episode, favorite characters, stuff like that. But the series as a whole, from start to finish, there are obviously like a few episodes here and there that are I kind of skip over sometimes because they're just kind of duds. But you're gonna have that with every show. That's inevitable. Even with some of my favorite cartoon, which is my favorite cartoon of all time. But even like with Gravity Falls, I watch, I rewatch Gravity Falls once every year, and it's usually in the summer. So I just finished watching it not that long ago, and there's still some episodes that I kind of just like, if they aren't integral to the story and I don't really care about them, I'll just kind of skip over them because I'm just like, yeah, it's whatever. But yeah, anyways, like every show's gonna have its dud of an episode, but over 9 seasons, I can maybe count on one hand the amount of episodes that I would skip, and that's pretty crazy. That's pretty good for a show that ran for 9 seasons. So yeah, I part of me kind of hates that I didn't get on the MLP train until years after the show had already ended. But now that I'm on it, and this fan base is still very much alive, and I've been part of the hype of seeing what Generation 6 is going to be. I did watch some pieces of Generation 5, uh, mainly the movie. The movie's good. I think it's better than the G4 movie, personally. Don't get mad at me, but I think the G5 movie is better than the G4 movie. But as far as the G5 series goes, Make Your Mark and Tell Your Tale, I don't really care for them all that much. But but I'm excited to see what G6 is going to be because there's rumors that it could possibly be some sort of reboot or something of G4, or at least have the G4 characters in it, which I would love to see, but I don't know if that's at all true, if that's what that's going to be. I'm keeping an open mind for G6. Even if it's something brand new, I'm just excited to see what it could be. So, but yeah, those are all my thoughts on My Little Pony. Again, this was kind of a video I debated making for a very long time. Like I've been thinking about this for over a year, but I figured it's about time I show this because it's one of the only things I love that I haven't made a video on. So just now it's up to you guys. If you guys would like for me to make more My Little Pony content, whatever it may be, let me know in the comments. Just because this at the moment this is the only video I plan on making about MLP for at least a while. But if you'd like to see some more, I'm up to doing more. I just need to know if this is something that people would actually want me to cover. So thank you guys for listening to me ramble on about my favorite cartoon, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.